Hi, Kitty. Mine's
I think
sleeping on
she's
the
gonna
bed
be
again. Yeah, it sounds like it. So glad that mine are not having to worry about that anymore.
Official, unofficial, official, unofficial, official, unofficial. It's definitely not official. Official, unofficial, official, unofficial, official, unofficial. Let's get.
Welcome to the Official Unofficial New Girl podcast. I am your host Al, and with me is my co-host Erica. How's it going, Erica?
It's going pretty good. How are you doing today?
Doing good. And over there at the bottom of the screen, Ben. How you doing,
What's
Ben?
up? I'm great, buddy. Today's going to be a good one.
Yep.
Mhm.
Today we're talking about episode 5 of this first season, Cece Crashes, written by Rachel Axler and directed by John Hamburg. And in this episode, we start off to a nightclub. We open on a nightclub, and it's Jess and Cece. Cece dragging Jess to see her DJ significant other, who has been making out with other girls. I love this guy, Gavin. His name is, I think.
Yeah, it is.
And Jess tells him off in the most hilarious of ways. And then she tells Cece that she doesn't need this guy and she's gonna crash at her place at the apartment. And then she takes her to the apartment. Cece's drunk. Nick and the guys are playing. Nick's mainly playing video games, and Schmidt is hanging out in the first appearance of the kimono.
Yes.
Which is phenomenal. And there's some funny lines here and there. He does some parkour, and but Jess tells them all that Cece's vulnerable and touchy, and pretty much all the things they want to hear. So, and she leaves them with the boys. She leaves her with the boys, and because that's a good idea, I guess. Cece, tired, wants to go to bed. And Schmidt starts sheepdogging her into his room because he wants to get her to sleep in his bed because him and Winston are talking about how he can't close with girls. And that ends up being a hilarious scene where Schmidt actually does end up getting Cece in his room. And that's where she passes out. And they wake up the next morning just making breakfast. And Schmidt is hanging off his exercise equipment shirtless as Cece wakes up to him almost passing out, blacking out, which was hilarious. And Cece then asks Jess if she and Nick ever had a thing because she wanted to apologize for dancing with Nick, and she tries to convince Jess that Nick has a thing for her, and Jess doesn't see it. So meanwhile, Winston and Schmidt are trying to see who can close with Cece, and Cece has told Jess that Nick is madly in love with her because his feet point towards her, like straight toward Jess, as opposed to like apart.
It's the most
And
ridiculous thing.
It really is. It's so silly.
And Jess takes it seriously when they're shopping and starts like looking around her and seeing how people's feet are looking and starts circling around Nick like a maniac. It's a beautiful scene. But then Jess ends up telling Cece that she's not like her and she can have guy friends. And she doesn't just jump in the potato sack, as she put it, with the first guy she meets with diabetes.
That's what I had written here, potato sack diabetes.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And then the episode ends with basically Jess and Nick brushing their teeth together, and Schmidt and Cece sleeping in bed holding hands, which I don't want to get too much into, but I'd love to revisit this episode later in the upcoming seasons. Okay, so we'll start with the douche jar. Now, I have many lines written down because Schmidt is
There's a lot here.
amazing in this episode. And I believe when Winston asks him if he's wearing underwear underneath that kimono, and then what's between him and the couch, he says, nothing but sunshine." There's the many lines, and there's the appearance of the kimono. There's parkour, Schmidt doing parkour,
And speed
but
skating.
and speed skating, yes.
Mhm.
But I have to say, the douche jar line of the episode for me is said by Gavin when he says, "This is my favorite deep V."
Yes.
That's,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
You ripped my DP. This is my favorite DP.
to me, that's a very douchey thing to say. What do you guys think?
Yeah, you know what? I think I'm gonna agree. I don't think Schmidt gets the douche jar this episode because the deep V line is the best, and I just love Jess going, "Now it's just a deeper V." It's like the best part of because it's just it's just a deeper V. It's hilarious. But yes, I mean, obviously Schmidt it's my kimono, and it's just hilarious because I mean, hey, I've had a kimono, and it's not that short, but um. Yeah, no, the deep V line definitely has to be the douche jar of this episode. So yeah, Schmidt, sorry man, you don't get it this episode. It's definitely Gavin for sure. I'm
I,
gonna have to agree with Al. Yeah, you pulled a good one. That's a good one, man. That's good. I like it.
It hit me. It hit the nail on the head because it doesn't get douchier than that, to be honest,
It
in my
really doesn't.
opinion.
No, I'm gonna agree with you. Yep, you definitely that I was not expecting that, but you are 100% correct. So what do you
What do
think,
we think?
Ben?
I'm going to respectively disagree on this one. That was my number 2. I thought it was fantastic. But I mean, here's some of the stuff that I've just got written down here. So we do have the hardcore speed skating. We've got the upside down sit ups where he suggests that Cece slide home like a curtain. We've got guessing Cece's ethnicity, which
Yes.
Oh,
So good,
that's true. I forgot about that.
I put here sound machine, and just because I don't have anything against people using sound machines that actually need to use it, but I know for a fact that Schmidt's character, as a character, he doesn't need to use that sound machine. He just saw that in a catalog and thought, "Hey, that looks like something cool, or what he considers to be cool. Let's buy that."
Some people enjoy those even if they don't need them, I
They're
would
pretty
say.
That's what I'm saying. I'm nothing against anyone that has one that needs them, but like I say, you know that Schmidt doesn't need that.
Mhm.
But I'm going to give my douchebag jar moment to the 127 hours. I just want to get my arm stuck down there like 127 hours style, and then
Hold
and then we
on.
just see just cut it
I
for days. I don't care. I'll cut through the bone to the nerve. And then we just see Winston just
Yeah.
looking disgusted, and then he just says, "Schmidt."
That's true. That's a good line as well. Yeah,
It's so bad and so douchey, but
it
yeah,
really is.
that's gonna get my douchebag moment. But yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the Gavin, aka DJ Diabetes, that line is fantastic about the DB. That's my number 2.
They're both great lines.
Yeah.
Both fantastic.
What did Winston say to him as he was talking about cutting his arm?
I just remember the Schmidt.
Yeah,
He gives like a really disgusted look, which
Yeah.
I would do.
Right.
It's terrible.
pretty bad. Pretty bad.
It's so bad. So bad.
Yay.
I'm so disappointed in Schmidt. Anyway, that's my one.
Yeah. Next up, we have Nick's tips, and for me, the most relatable moment is definitely when the gang starts dancing and everyone's like being loud and obnoxious around Nick, and he says, "This is the opposite of what I wanted this weekend."
Mhm.
That
Yeah,
and a
that's a good one.
close runner up, maybe even I don't know, but the other one is when Jess says to Nick, "I thought you were better than that," and he says, "I am sometimes."
That's what I've got. That's what I've got for
Yeah,
mine. That
that's
was
definitely
so
up
good.
there. Would,
I
would
am
you say that's your
sometimes.
favorite then?
Absolutely, dude. Yeah, just the way he delivered that line too. I know I am sometimes. Oh, it's so good. No, that's
What
absolutely my
about you,
moment.
Erica?
That is great. That's probably one of my favorite moments with Nick when he's in the bathroom and and Jess is like, better than that. Because we all know that he is sometimes. But I have to go with the beginning where he just wants to play video games because that has been me so much lately where Like, I was downloading a new game the other day, and I literally, like, it's been on my console for 3 days, and I finally got to sit down at 10 o'clock last night and play it for a half an hour before I was like, "Okay, yeah, Netflix." And then, yeah, just because, like, I just need some quiet. I just wanna play video games, and everyone else wants to be loud and noisy around me. Yep, nope, that's my Nick moment for this week is I just wanna play video games.
I love the knockoff Mario music too.
Yes, it's perfect,
It's like not
perfect.
quite Mario, but
But it's, like, this close to Mario. Yep,
yeah.
Right.
yeah.
How do we want to do what's up, Winston, Ben?
What's up,
That's why I
Just like that. Perfect.
just like that. Okay, my what's up, Winston, is definitely him doing the deep voice talking to Cece as he was dancing.
Mhm.
Because I mean, I know someone who does go into a deeper voice when he's trying to hit on girls. So that's definitely, and that someone is not me.
We all know that guy. We all know that guy.
What do you guys have for what's up, Winston?
I think I'm gonna go with the same just because, Winston, he's still very present in this episode, but he doesn't have a huge role in this episode because he does have at the beginning that whole, I bet I could get with her moment, but Schmidt overtakes that so quickly that Winston's just kind of there to mess with him a little bit. Though I do like the part where uh, Cece sends Schmidt up to the roof and Winston's kind of like, yeah, that's good. And then she goes, make me a sandwich. And he's like, yep. And he just goes. That's pretty good too. But I still think him just going into that deep voice because we all, like I said, everyone knows that guy. And I think that's going to be my what's up Winston moment for this week too.
Nice. Ben?
I've got two. So yeah, deep voice was one of them. And then I've also put just the whole scene of this starting with the wearing the napkin on the face to I believe just rip his pants off, and then just when Jess and Cece walk in, and I don't even
So
know how to
great.
describe it. But that's so good. But I think yeah, probably we'll go deep voice as well. That was really good.
Next up, we have the MVP of the episode, and
Mhm.
that, in my opinion, has to be Cece for sure because
Yeah.
she had everything under control. Whether she was right or wrong, some of those answers we still don't know. But she was the only one who was under control in this episode. What do you guys think?
I've put
Definitely.
Cece.
Definitely Cece.
Oh, sorry, you go, Erica.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely I'm going with Cece too. This is the first episode that we really get to see Cece shine. And she, like you said, she just has everything under control. Even at the beginning where she just everything kind of seems to be going out of control for her. I still think, just towards the end, she just sees things that others might not want to see or might not actually be there. But, I still, even down to, and my favorite line, I think one of my favorite lines of the show, when she holds Schmidt's hand and she goes, if you tell anybody about this, I have two people on my phone that will kill you. And that is probably one of my favorite lines of the entire show. I love it. And just, I love her because she owns it and she owns this episode. And yeah, definitely Cece.
Ben?
I had CC, Nick, Jess, and Schmidt, but you've both convinced me because CC is such a strong character, and like I say, really, it's probably her first big introduction. I would say she's obviously been in previous episodes, but this episode really is about her. So, yeah, no, I'll go CC.
Yeah,
Nice.
Cece.
CC.
Hey girl, what you doing, Ben?
Oh, what am I doing? What have I done? Oh, I tell you what, we just got done recording episode with one Nick Scarpino, actually two podcasts on the Simply Sassy vids. So that was a super fun time. So definitely go along and check that out. Simply Sassy vids on Twitter or Simply Sassy on YouTube. But it was fantastic. We did a fun Out of Our League episode, had a great time, and then we actually got to do, which was just crazy, like doing a Photoshop challenge with Nick Scarpino.
Right.
That was an absolute blast and a real surreal moment. So that was pretty cool.
A lot of fun with Nick and Ben going back and forth about the
Yeah.
Photoshops. Amazing. You should definitely check it out.
I
Yeah, it was a
can't
great
wait to watch that. Cannot wait to watch that.
It's a good 2.5 hours of content for both of them, so enjoy. It's good.
Okay, next up we have Jake Watch. Any news on Jake Watch and where we're sitting with that?
Not that I'm aware of. No, I still haven't heard anything yet. Have you seen anything on the socials, Erica?
Not yet, nothing I've heard of. We have seen a little bit of an uptick on the hashtag let Jake
Hashtag
know, which is good. So keep using that hashtag let Jake know so he knows
let Jake.
that we exist and that we would really love that, for him to come on the show and just say hi and what's up and, maybe give us some tips of his own because, Nick's tips and all, would like him for
Exactly.
sure.
Okay, I'm gonna start with the rating for this episode, and for Schmitty's, I'm gonna go 9.5 for this one. 9.5 Schmitty's,
Whoa.
because there's so much going on. Cece's part of it, and there's a lot that I can go on and on and on about in this episode that I can't say now. But this is a very, very special, very sort of uh transparent, if you will, episode, in terms of what the characters are and what they mean to each other. And it's fun to see that so early in the show, and then have it turn into whatever it turns into. What do you guys think? What rating are you going with, Erica?
I'm gonna give it an 8.5 Schmitty's today. I agree with you a lot. I think there's a lot of setup in this episode for future episodes, which is really, really cool. I always love the early setup. Just even if it's little setups that really don't turn into anything, or bigger setups that we see later on in further seasons, or even just, I think, you know, just the little stuff in this episode. And I just really love seeing Cece become a bigger part of things because she's such a cool character and so diverse because a lot of the times you just see her as that model chick. And I love the character that she grows into throughout this show. So I love just seeing her in this episode.
Ben, what do you think?
Oh, I love this episode. And I think the thing doing this show is, I mean, we have to obviously watch the episodes multiple times normally, and the more I watch this one, the more I liked it. Just yeah, some amazing standout moments. I love Jess's freak out, like especially in the store when she says that she doesn't use toilet paper.
Mhm. That is fantastic. Oh my gosh, yes.
And then just her running out of the car is such a great moment.
Mhm.
Poor Nick's just so confused. Just
Yep.
run.
Yep.
I just imagine him. You're driving around just searching for her, can't find her. That was fantastic. And then we just get some great lines. I guess that we might have just briefly missed, but the whole thing about when Nick just says that he just wants to sits there playing into his game in silence, and then he just wants to go into his room and do weird stuff on his computer. Like you mentioned earlier, we get the great kimono moment from
Mhm.
Schmidt there, and then just the line from Winston: "Are you wearing underwear? What's between you
Mhm.
and that chair? Just a little bit of sunshine."
Yep.
But all in all, some just amazing moments. I guess we probably didn't talk about too much, but yeah, a really strong episode for Jess as well. I love the moments between her
Yeah.
and Cece, and her saying that her ideal person is Walter Matthau from Grumpy Old Me.
Yes,
I
that's
totally forgot about that. It's so good. It's so good.
And also, there's that really, it's actually kind of sweet moment between Jess and Schmidt, that kind of heart to heart, where Jess actually says, "Look, if you actually focus on the things that you accidentally do,
yes.
not the things that you actually do," just the kind,
Ignore everything you do on purpose. Yeah.
exactly, it's so good. And then
Mhm.
just that really nice, sweet moment at the end of Nick and Jess brushing their teeth together. So no, I thought this was an amazing episode. 9.5 Schmitties out of 10. Absolutely loved it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to go off on that. Like Jess was uh maybe the runner up for MVP. As
Mm.
broken and as confused as she
Definitely.
was, she had a lot of sort of insight into what she was doing, how she was treating the other characters, and she had
Mhm.
a great that was a great episode for Jess as well. Just
For sure. Definitely.
all right. So if you want to check more of our content out, then you can head to the oupod.com for all our socials, and for our Patreon, Erica.
That is going to be at patreon.com/official unofficial podcast. And anywhere from $3 up, you can find a lot of cool stuff, early access, a Discord server, some fan fiction, or even a Photoshop. So there's a whole bunch of cool stuff. We would like to thank our Patreon producers, Tiff Stardust, Largent, and hey, Simply Sassy. Thanks, guys.
Ben, where can people find our socials and other links that might interest them, like the podcast links and such?
Absolutely, buddy. So the best place to go is definitely the oupod.com. That's the oupod.com. Pop on there. It's got all the links to everything there. So you got the YouTube links, the podcast links, everything's on there. Just jump in and have a good time.
Heck yeah.
Nice. And until then, keep it unofficial.